Brother.
Okay.
And yes, we're live. I'm here with my brother, my BFF, Nikola.
How's it going, David?
Always nice to see you, my brother. Long
Nice to
time no
see you, man.
see. I was telling you before we went live, your hair looks nice today. Yeah, you have the
Okay.
hat on usually in the car. You have the hat on in the
Yep.
car.
Yep. I just snatched it off right now because it's easier with the headphones. So,
Yeah, so what's
how
been
you
going
been?
on? What's been going on with you?
Same old, same old. Nothing really new. Working, father, husband.
Yeah, how's your you have two kids now?
Yep. Yep.
How are the
Two
two
girls,
kids?
daughters. One is gonna be 6, and the other's 3. So,
Oh,
Vivian
wow.
and Ivana.
I
Yep.
can't believe your youngest is three. I thought it was just like 2 weeks ago you had the second baby. It's like 3 years?
Yeah.
What?
See how fast time flies, man. I remember when I sent you that picture. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at what gift God gave me.
Yeah. That was 3 years ago?
Amazing.
Are you joking?
Yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
crazy. I
It's
know.
crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
So God's blessed you with two so far,
Yep.
two children so far. It's good.
Yep.
Keep going, keep
Yep.
going.
And I was thinking, yeah, a few more, 3 or 4 sounds good. So, God
Yeah.
willing, though. God willing. Yep.
Yeah. So what's on your mind? What do you have you been seeing anything interesting with my recent guests? Anyone catch your eye? Any
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
stuff to talk about there, or
Of course,
We could
I'll
talk
have to
about
say,
World War III if you want.
yeah, yeah. Even though I don't
No,
know much about it, actually, I
no.
just had to look. I just had to search it and even find out what Hamas even is, and I
It's
didn't know, never heard of it
it's
or
a chickpea.
whatever. So,
It's a dip made out of chickpeas. My friend, I'll give a shout out to my friend Pine Sap on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, why is everyone upset about hummus? I don't get it. What's the big deal with hummus? It's just a dip." And I'm
all
like,
you need is some pita bread.
and I thought he was serious. Like I didn't get the joke with Hamas, and
Yeah,
I was just explaining to him why I can't eat hummus because of the garlic, and then I realized like three posts later I realized, oh, he's talking about Hamas. Okay,
yeah.
sorry, I'm an idiot. But
That's
no,
pretty
it's
sad.
pretty sad. It's sad the way Satan's fooling us into
Yeah,
looking for money, power, or pride, whatever. I don't know what these wars are all about, but
it is
hatred, hatred of a fellow man. It's
it's a
disgusting.
Muslim group though, right? It is a Muslim group, right? Radical Muslim group.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know more than I do, but
Okay.
I know it ain't a pretty situation, and I
Yeah.
personally don't support the state of Israel, Zionism. I just intuitively I'm against it. I might be wrong.
Right.
I might be wrong. Don't hate me, but I'm intuitively I'm against it. I think it's wrong. And I sort of side with the underdog. I think that's the Palestinian people, the innocent people, not the terrorists.
Yep.
They're terrorists, obviously, on both sides. But I'm ignorant of politics, so I'm allowed to have silly ideas about what's happening. But I just side with the innocent who are just trying to have a family, have a life, and
That's
they're
right.
dealing with these conflicting mafias. It's just tragic, and but yeah, I mean, there are a lot of Jews who are against Zionism. They say God exiled us, and it's up to God to bring us back. It's not up to politicians to bring us back, and certainly not for godless, quote unquote, Jews, non-religious Jews, to force God's hand and to create the state of Israel against God's will. A lot of the religious Jews are saying that. So I don't know if that's true or what's true, but just my intuition tells me that I'm against the formation of the state of Israel, and it's just I see the history of how the Palestinians were forced into a corner, smaller and smaller segment of their land, and it's a difficult problem to
Yeah.
unravel. I'm not taking sides, but
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
a lot of nastiness.
That's why it says in the scripture how God said people will be killing in my name, thinking they're doing my will. And
Yeah,
it's messed up. It is. It is.
yeah, for sure. It's well, at least we don't have to hear about Ukraine, Russia this for these couple of weeks.
Yep.
The
Yeah,
news cycle, it's embarrassing, just being in the first world. We got clean water, we got lots of food, we got safety and security for the most part. Most of us do here in the West. But
yeah,
we flick through the news, go on Twitter, go on the internet, check the headlines. Oh, and then we take sides. Like I like this team, I like that team, and it's just
yeah,
it's so frivolous and superficial.
yeah.
And
We're definitely spoiled. We're spoiled. We got everything, man. Even last night I was praying and I was just like, I'm like, thank you, God, for this comfortable bed I get to sleep in and all the food to get fat I have. And then
yeah,
it hit me really quick and I'm like, there's really kids starving right now. Like
yeah,
sometimes I can't grasp that, you
mm,
know,
mm,
I can't, and then I'm just like, really? And then, cause I've never seen it with my own eyes, someone literally actually starving to death,
yeah,
and I can't really grasp it sometimes, I
no,
guess I know it exists and but that's just a wow, for me.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Every 7 seconds, a child dies of hunger. Apparently, that's
Wow.
what they say. That's what they say. 75
Right.
million a year killed in the womb.
Yeah.
That's the official numbers from the United Nations. I don't know what the real numbers are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tragic
Wow.
stuff. So
The,
yeah, it's we're being protected. I think God's grace includes a certain blindness
yeah.
where there's a veil. Because if we saw the demons, if we saw the
Yep.
destruction, if we saw the hunger, if we saw the war, the horrors of war and corruption and injustice, if we saw that, I think we'd die.
Yep. Yep.
So He keeps us alive by keeping us a little bit in the fog.
Right. It's a grace for sure.
And St. Paul
Yeah,
said
that's
we
something.
see through a glass darkly. So it's kind of
Yep.
we're protected that way, I think.
That's what I think about sometimes. That pops through my head. I'm like, only if we can see these horrible demons right now, how they're around everywhere, like almost like how
Yeah.
you flip on a switch and the cockroaches are everywhere, let's say, or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
It's like if we seen it, we would be terrified. We'd be
Oh
terrified,
God.
you know? Yeah.
Scary
But
stuff.
also then there's the bright side. If we would see our guardian angel,
Yeah.
we would
We'd be
we,
mesmerized.
yes,
Ah!
we'd be mesmerized. We'd say, God, is that you?
Yeah, well, I wonder about that in the Old Testament. A lot of the time they use angel of the Lord, and like they speak to the angel of the Lord as if it's God himself, and the
Yeah.
angel of the Lord speaks for God. So you wonder if it's an epiphany, if it's an actual, appearance of God taking on, whether it's the
Right.
second person or what, I don't know,
Yep. Yep.
taking on an appearance, or is it actually an angel taking on the appearance, or is it just our imagination being
Right.
fooled to think we're talking with an angel, or um,
Exactly.
you know,
Right.
like in the book of Tobit, the angel comes and guides the son, and
Hmm.
so was that a physical manifestation in the world of this angel, or was the angel there, but it's pure spirit, and so we just have this sensory perception. Like I think I see it. I think I can touch him. I think I can hear him. But these are all just happening inside of our heads, because
Hmm.
God doesn't need to make a physical manifestation of his angels. He could just give us the impression
Yeah.
in our heads, right? So I often wonder
Hmm.
about that.
Yep. Yeah. I've heard some in depth of the Trinity, and they definitely like the Lord rains fire down from the Lord, like one in heaven, one in earth, and they use that for the Trinity, of course, But how you're saying, we don't know, the depths of it. You
God is good. That's all we know. That's all we know.
know?
That's all we know for now.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I love a random, off the cuff conversation, right? So I enjoy that. But I did make a little list of some questions that
Do
we'll
it.
get to in a little bit. You want to
Okay.
now or in a little bit?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I
Okay,
got one
okay.
thing. I got one thing I'd like to bring up with you.
Yes.
Which is, I've been having a Twitter war, a battle on Twitter with a bunch of people,
Yeah.
mostly Catholic, some Protestant, I think, and maybe some, I don't know what. But it's all about Islam and the Muslims. There, a lot of people are claiming now that they're not monotheistic. They don't worship God. They have some demon worship. They worship some demon or something like that. But that's not what the church teaches. The church teaches that the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims worship the same God of Abraham,
Hmm.
Isaac, and Jacob. And of course, we have different understanding. And only Christianity and only Catholicism has the fullness of the understanding in terms of essential saving truths about faith
Right.
and morals. So when it comes to the essential saving truths of faith, we only we have the fullness of that belief about the Trinity, the incarnation, these sorts of things, and His real presence in the Eucharist, these sorts of things. But it's the same God. I mean, you can't sit there and tell me that all of the Old Testament, all the Jews of the faithful Jews in the Old Testament, that they weren't worshiping God, they were worshiping a demon. No,
That's right. That's
no,
right. That's right.
they didn't
Yeah.
understand. They didn't understand, the Trinity perfectly. Maybe not at all, but
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
same
But
God.
the understanding of there's one God and He that's going to judge the world, and that's the stuff they got correct, you know?
Yeah,
And of course, when you bend down, when you get on your knees in your face and you're truly from your heart worshiping that one God, the Muslim, he's Catholic at that moment and he don't know it, right?
yeah,
But he is worshiping God. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Of
For sure,
course, of
100%,
course, of
100%.
course.
And you actually, over time, you've kind of helped me see that as well. Because before I fell into the little bit of the Muslim haters, like hating the Muslims. You know what I mean too, thinking it's a demon and it's because of their errors, right?
Yeah,
We're aware of the errors they have, and they don't understand that Jesus was God, and sure, but as soon as they say one God and monotheistic God, and it's like they have that correct,
yeah.
and it brings me to because your past guest mentioned it, and even one before, Sam Shimon. Have you ever got to check him out yet?
No, not yet. But I keep hearing people talking about him.
Yeah, so that's why I'm bringing it up, because you're guest as well. So I've watched a lot of Sam Shamoun over the years, okay? And I'll tell you, yes, he does good a lot of times, and he knows the Bible really well, and when he sticks up for the Trinity, he does it amazing. And he had a huge conversion of himself slowly from Protestantism to being aware of Catholicism and Orthodoxy. So that's a good thing. He's brought a lot of people. But now, on the other hand, he is a Muslim hater, big
Uh,
time.
uh,
He's one of those that says, you worship Satan, telling all the Muslims, you worship Satan. He's very harsh. I can't stomach him.
yeah.
I cannot stomach him more than 10 minutes. I can't. I can't. Cussing out people's mothers every chance he gets. And he thinks he's doing a justice just because he thinks I have the right religion, you have the wrong one. But he gets very disgusting at times. So I just
Uh,
wanted to throw
oh.
that out there. It
Well,
really,
you're
really.
making me not want to look him up at all.
I mean, I'll tell you now, it could be a waste of time. I mean, I told you the good he's doing, but yeah, it
I mean, I don't
won't be
need
long until you're disgusted. It won't be long until you're
what's
disgusted.
he gonna offer me that I don't already have or that I don't already know?
Exactly.
What's he
No,
gonna
not
bring
much.
me? What's he gonna bring me? Because I'm not looking for cheap entertainment.
Right. No, no, that's what it is. That's what I mean. Not 100% of the times. Like I said, there was a few moments he has a few testimonies where, let's say, a Muslim converted and stuff. He has a few of those, but you have to find the needle in the haystack, right? Okay, those are amazing. It even brought tears to my eyes. But his disgustingness too is just like you flip heads or tails, and you're gonna get, one or the other, some good or some disgusting, some good or some disgusting. So. Yeah,
Is
can't
this what
stomach
you
it.
say about me behind my back too? Same thing. Yeah, check
You
out
ignore it.
CVS, but oh, he's disgusting, man. The guy's
Ignore him most
disgusting.
of the time. Don't worry. Just look for the guests. It's funny. Actually, yeah. Towards the beginning, you asked me about some of your guests, and I
Yeah.
was gonna say, yeah, I watched them all, and just to let you know, I've watched every single one of your
Are
episodes.
you serious?
Every single one, and a few of them, probably half of them, one more time. You know
What
what I mean?
about the pros and
So.
cons of sedevacantism? You ever watched that one?
That's my favorite. I love that, man. It's so powerful. It's so
It's
good.
still good today.
Gosh, it's awesome.
What's your
I
favorite
love it.
part? What's your favorite part?
Just naming off the councils, going over that the powerfulness of just you lay out the history and it's like, look what's happened over history, right? What makes us so special right now in our measly 100 years? Just look at the history. It was from the beginning until today. You know, the heretics. You know, it's just like wow,
It's a
yeah,
good antidote to the all the Pope hating. Like, oh, Pope Francis is a heretic, and he did this, and he did that.
exactly.
Come and join us in the pure religion. We got the true faith over
Yep,
here.
yep. That's my words. Come and join this group. Come and join my sect. Whatever it is, there's always them groups, man. If it's the TLMs or if it's the Sedevacantists or if it's just always come and join my group. Come hate everybody else with me.
Yeah,
It's like, no, I don't want to hate everybody else with
yeah.
you, you know?
I
So
want to
yeah.
hate everyone else with David on CVS podcast. I'm kidding.
No, you do awesome, man, by showing your patience. I know you're not perfect, nobody's perfect, right? But you do awesome by showing the love, being patient, hearing people's stories. That's like amazing to me. One of your last with the lady Margaret, maybe her name was, right?
Margaret Mary O'Connor,
Yes,
yes,
I
sweet
was just
lady.
like, I don't know how. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know how David is doing this right now because I wouldn't have been able to. I would not
Even
have
you?
been able.
Even
Even
you?
me, yes, I would have been like,
Wow.
okay, Margaret, I'm sorry. I just can't. I can, and I would have. Yep, yep. I would have. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have handled it. So I give you credit, man.
I
That's
push back a little bit. I push back a little bit. Then I let a lot of stuff slide, just let it
yeah,
slide, and you
yeah,
know, it's really in the moment. I'm looking at her face, I'm listening to her,
yeah.
you know, I love her, I respect her, I think she's wrong, I disagree with her, but you know,
Journey. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not God. I'm not gonna like bring down the fire and brimstone on her. Like,
Right.
she's got to do her thing, and
That's the truth. It's not our job to bring the fire and brimstone on them. You know.
it's
That's the whole point. You know.
it's like I could sense some childhood trauma, like, as a woman, with she talked about with her brother, and like the brother maybe put her down when they were play acting church, and maybe she felt, it's really complicated dealing with childhood
Yeah.
issues. How do you fit in with the siblings, with the parents, and you know
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm
It's.
not I'm not God, but I'm also not a shrink. I'm not a shrink. I'm not here to like
Hmm.
psychoanalyze you or whatever. It's just a basic understanding that, hey, there's a wounded human there, and there's a wounded human here, and let's try not to exacerbate each other's wounds too much, but
Yeah.
we can't smile on lies or on falsehoods or on sin, but we don't need to get too excited and all
Right.
angry about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And the prayer after for them specifically, sincerely, is very powerful. Very, very powerful.
I hope so.
Um, what came to mind when you were saying something was random, but it just came to my mind. Is would you say a lot of people see they connect God with how their dad treated them in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if they see it, but I mean,
I've
that's a basic kind of psychological analysis that we can't ignore it. We can't pretend like it's not a reality. We have to admit that the family is a mirror or a shadow of the Holy Family.
mhm,
Always. This is not a joke. This is not a gimmick to sell books. This is not some psychological nonsense. That's a
mhm,
reality. That's what the church teaches us. The family is a shadow of, or a type of, the Holy Family. And so, like, yeah, it's tragic. You got a father who's absent. He's a drunk. He's this, he's that. That's going to wound the child every time, every time.
yeah, yeah,
And if the mother and father love each other, they're supportive of each other in the family, and everything's good, then that's great. But you know, what about the aunts and uncles and cousins and the neighbors and the people in Palestine and Israel, whatever? Like, I mean, even if we find a good, healthy, small family, or even if it's a bunch of kids, even if we find a healthy example of the family, it's there's the neighborhood, there's the society that's full of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, drug addiction. And I'm
Mm,
watching a series on the world's toughest prisons, and you see some prisons are full of kids, 20s, in their 20s, whatever,
yeah.
because of drugs, because of illegal drugs that are just so addictive and so powerful, and then they have to do crime to get the drug, and it's just like this is lose, 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 lose. Like we're giving drugs to kids, messing them up. They end up doing crime, they end up going to jail, and
Yep.
then they're in jail, in and out of jail until they die by suicide or gang death or whatever. It's like, and
Yeah.
this is all over the world. It's not just in America. Like this is, I'm thinking about the Czech Republic right now, and um, methamphetamine, crystal meth. It's an epidemic there. So
Yeah.
how tragic!
Mm.
You got innocent kids who don't know anything else because their family's destabilized by the drugs already for how many generations? It's been a couple of generations already. So it's tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. The
I think.
reason I asked, I've seen a lot of people connect it, with their dad, and Ken Hovind is one of them because I've watched a ton of his stuff
Ah,
in the past, and he
ah,
would give examples of how his dad would treat him, right? Like, boy,
oh.
you better listen, boy, right, boy. And then one day he gave an example. He says, yeah, well, God's gonna just be like, boy, you better listen. He connected it exactly, right, with his dad, And then I started laughing or whatever.
Ah,
And the reason I asked too is because my dad died when I was like 7 years old, and he was in a coma for almost 3 years. So he had a stroke when I was 4 years old, right? So I don't have an image of my dad. I have like
oh.
four or five small memories, right? And that's
Mm,
it. So I don't have an image of my dad. And then when it comes to my mom, I don't link. Um, I don't. My mom's actions don't affect how I see the Blessed Virgin Mary. So I have neither on both sides. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know if it's a. It could be though a grace because I see God in like I don't know in a diff.
You have a blank slate for God.
Yes, that's that. Thank you. Yep, you got the words right out of my mouth. Or no, you gave me the words I was looking for. Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Daniel Drazinovich. He's in the live chat here.
I like Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Yeah, I love Daniel. Yep, good
Nice
man.
guy, my fellow
Good
Canadian.
man. Yeah, yeah. Are you close at all with him or no? I mean, like,
Geographically, no, it's
yes.
not that close. It's probably I would guess 10 or 8 hour drive, 10 hour drive.
Oh, okay. So yeah, far.
Yeah. Let me just check.
Yeah.
Uh, Montreal. I think he's in like Sudbury or Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not sure which. You're close to Sault Ste. Marie, aren't you? Or
Me,
were you ever close to Sault Ste. Marie? No, no, no.
me, no.
Is that in Michigan? No, I don't know.
That don't
Sudbury.
sound familiar. That don't sound familiar.
No. Okay.
No.
It's a seven
Could be, but
hour drive
okay.
between us. Yeah,
Got it.
it's doable. Hey Daniel, maybe I'll drive up and see you, but I don't have a car. Hey, let me check my bicycle how long it takes. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh man, you took one of the questions away. That was one of my questions. Do you have a car yet?
No. My boss threatened to buy me one. He's like, we're gonna buy you a car. It's on us. It's our treat. Whatever. I'm like,
Oh,
nope,
nice.
nope,
Really?
nope,
Really? Is there a
nope.
main reason or just or
Yeah,
how come?
repairs, gas,
Yeah,
parking, duh.
yeah,
Like, do I want, if
yeah.
I want a really, really big penance, voluntary penance, yeah, sure, get me a car, but I don't want it. I don't want it.
Oil change, car wash.
Oh my God, it's a burden. It's a burden.
Oh,
You
shoot.
know, I don't
That's
know what you
funny.
do with your car there. You fixed your ceiling. It used to hang down the ceiling, remember?
Mine?
Yeah, you
I
used to
don't.
have a piece of cloth that was hanging. Don't you remember that? Piece of cloth. You don't remember that?
No,
No?
no.
Oh, maybe I
Uh-uh.
imagined it. Okay, maybe it was just
Probably you did, or it looked like that.
it
Maybe.
was an
Yeah.
angel.
Yeah. It was my huge halo. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe it was someone else that I talked to in the car. Yeah,
Yeah,
it might have
yeah,
been someone
someone
else
else.
I was talking to in the car.
Yeah, I'm always in my car with these videos because I could smoke. I can't smoke in the house, so my
Uh,
brother-in-law messes with me that knows me well. He says, "Are you in your office?" He calls this my office. I'm like, "Yep, I'm in the office right now."
you ever think about your friend there, the born again Pentecostal non-smoker guy that gave you hell for smoking? You remember him?
Andre
Yeah.
Rose. Yep, yep, yep.
You ever think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially, and then every time I think of him, I try to give a prayer for sure, man,
Every
because
time you think about him, light up a smoke. That's what you should do.
yeah, he went overboard and made me go overboard with it too. And yeah, for sure. He just dragged on that for a half hour.
Oh, you think he thinks?
I love how you said it. You said this the smoking situation dominates this video. That's what you said about it. It dominates.
I'd like to see what he said about the Muslims worshiping the one true God. I'd like to hear what he had to
Oh,
say about
that's
that.
right. That's right. Remember I sent you that one video how he has his 8-year-old son out there mimicking him? Remember that?
Oh, you told me that. You told me that. Did
I
you send it
sent
to
you.
me?
I sent it to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I seem to remember. Yeah, I did
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah.
They're out in the streets, and his son is just like, "You need Jesus, or you're going to hell," and screaming, and yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's like, he thinks he's doing God's work, but
Well, that's what I said to my conservative Catholic friends online. I said, look, if you're going to say that because the Muslims, some of them are preaching hatred, kill your enemies, whatever, then so therefore they worship a demon. Well, you have to say the same thing about Westboro Baptist Church when they had their big signs, God hates fags, and you know what I
that's
mean?
right.
So,
Exactly.
which God do they worship?
Yep.
Look,
Exactly.
we're all confused. We're all confused about God. You remember Saint Faustina with her Divine Mercy devotion?
Hmm.
That book, read her diary, and you'll realize that Jesus tells her that most Catholics don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get God
Yep.
and His mercy. They don't get it.
Yep.
We don't understand God properly. So what? I worship a demon now because I don't worship God properly. I don't appreciate the fullness of His grace, the fullness of His glory, the fullness of His
Right.
mercy. Like, I mean, none of us get it, but He's merciful to all of us. He sends the rain
That's right.
on the righteous
And,
and on the
and I've
sinners.
noticed too, taking away from his mercy is such a horrible thing to do, man. And that's what a lot of them do. The fire and brimstone preachers, the a lot of them, they take away from God's mercy, and you can't. That's why the church teaches we can't despair of anyone's salvation. It's like, duh, that's why he teaches that, because you take away from God's mercy, you know?
Yeah, well, there's a I forget where it's written in the Bible, but the measure you use is the measure that will be used for you. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
if you're gonna go
Right.
around saying, well, you don't qualify, your faith isn't good enough, and so therefore you're a demon worshiper. Well, do you really think that you're so squeaky clean that God cannot find fault with you and use that same measure on you?
Yep.
Think
One
about
time I
it. Think
meditated
about it.
2 minutes on that passage, and I was like, wow, if I'm going to be judged the way I was judging everybody else,
You're in
so
trouble.
it's humbling. It's very humbling to. That's a great passage to meditate on, and I only gave it 2 minutes probably, and I was like, wow, you know,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing.
You mentioned Saint Faustina. I love the
Yeah.
chaplet of Divine Mercy. And did you ever hear the song version of it?
No, you may have sent it to me, but
No, that one I didn't send it to you. No, no, no. But did I torture you with one of the songs I sent you or no?
you sent me a
Was it
couple
too
of
mushy?
Protestant Christian
Yeah,
songs,
two of
right?
them. Yeah, two of them.
I
Two.
have to admit I didn't deeply listen to it. I just could put it
Okay,
on and I'm like, no,
got
no,
it.
no,
Yep,
whatever.
yep. I don't blame you because music is preference, right? So
I
I
would
don't
need to
blame
listen
you.
to it and like give
I
it a
had to.
chance and then
Yeah, yeah.
re-listen and
Yeah, yeah, and then, yeah, yeah, that's fine. The only reason I sent it to you because I'm like, these are the 2 out of 3, Protestant songs that I even like because I don't, I don't listen
I'll
to them.
re-listen to them. I'll re-listen. I want to interrupt you just to give a shout out to Kieran. He's in the live chat too.
Kieran, what's up,
He
brother?
says, "Much love, Nikola. Love heart emoji. Screw you, David. Love heart emoji."
Just what I was thinking, Kieran. Gosh.
He's a mind
Exactly.
reader. He's a mind reader.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I could put the actually, I could put the. Let's do this, okay? Let's
Mhm.
put the. Go through your bullet points because I'm inviting everyone to join the call here. Okay, hop on the call, boys. So let's go through your bullet points before Kieran comes over and steals the show and starts dominating. He's gonna
Yeah,
dominate.
smarter than me, better looking than me, more humble than
No,
me. What else? What else?
better dressed than you.
Yeah, better dressed than me.
You look
Yeah.
good though. You look better today than average. Better
Really?
than you normally do. Yeah,
Thank you.
you look good.
Appreciate
Maybe it's the lighting
it. Yep.
in your
The low
office.
lighting in my office. Yep. All right. And these are random from topic to topic, so they're really random, right? But I was going to say, is hell going on at this very moment, or is the hell spoken
Reserved for
about
the
in
end times.
Revelation for the for the in the
I
future?
think, I always think about that. I always think about that. And I think about when he said the fire's being prepared for when he gathers the wheat into the barn, then he's going to put it into the fire, the weeds into the fire. I think Satan is having fun now because he's got some freedom and he's playing around with us.
Yep.
And then as the end gets closer, he gets more nervous and starts overplaying his hand more and more, like we're seeing today. And then he knows like he's screwed. He's going to end up in hell soon. So I think he starts to really go wild.
Yep.
This is my intuition.
Hmm.
But based on what the Bible says, and Kieran will correct us, right? But I think the Bible tells us that yeah, it's hell is there. It's prepared for them, but right now they're kind of running amok.
Yep. Yep.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. No, this whole time for a while, I thought hell is going on, burning right now, But this past year, I was like, wait, asking the question, and then I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't sure.
Because
And
the
as of now,
judgment. Think about
I'm
Judgment
not
Day. Think about Judgment
sure.
Day. Think about Judgment Day. Like, okay, you die. Uh, you're outside of time, but now you know your fate. You know you're going one way or the other,
Hmm.
right? So if you know that hell's prepared for you and you're going to go there after the general judgment, you're still in hell, waiting for hell. Right? It's just
Hmm.
just another part of
Yep.
your hell,
All right.
right? But
Yep.
hey, here we go. Let's see what Daniel Drazinovich has to say about this. Hey,
Hey, what's happening, guys?
hey,
What's up, Daniel?
nice to see you.
Nice seeing you guys.
I hope this
How you
isn't.
doing?
Yeah, I hope we're not
Good.
catching you at a bad time. Are you in Sudbury or is that where you are, right?
No, it's the same Marine.
Ah, that's what I thought. Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, yeah. So let me get the
Yeah.
screen set up here properly because right now it's looking messed up. Okay. Yeah, so go ahead, talk amongst yourselves.
Sure. How you doing, Nikola?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How about you, Daniel?
Where do you live in Flint?
No, right by Detroit, 15, 20 minutes north of Detroit in Sterling
Oh,
Heights.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, I've been down that way.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever heard of a city called Hamtramck or no?
Where?
Hamtramck.
No.
Okay, that's just where I was born and raised. It's literally a 2.2 square mile city inside of Detroit. So I'm
Oh,
Okay.
surrounded by Detroit. That's where I was born, raised, grew up until 24 years old is when I moved out and came to 20 minutes north of there. Yep.
Okay. I like
Pretty-
Michigan.
Yeah,
Nice
it's
state.
pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
where are
So
you, Daniel? Where are you?
Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario,
No,
and there.
I know. But what room are you
Oh, where
in?
am I? Oh, I'm at work.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you in a submarine?
Huh?
You look like you're in a submarine.
I'm in a pulpit. They call it a pulpit. I work in a steel mill.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm in this room. Just kind of keeps me out of the noise.
Yeah. Cool.
Ah, cool. Good.
Yeah.
So keep going on your bullet list, and Daniel will chime in with his answers and the trivia questions here.
Okay. Some are specifically, well, you'll see. Anyways, one question is, how many demons bother you daily?
How many demons bother me daily?
Yeah, is it one, the one that mostly bothers you, or is it seven?
I I think
It's
it's
a
two.
it's a
I think
random
it's two.
question. Yeah, yeah. It's a random question, right? Where what's the word?
Yeah.
Just
Conversation
ideas.
starter. Yeah, playing with
Yes,
ideas. Playing
yes.
with ideas.
How about you, David? How many demons bother you daily?
Uh, Laziness. Lust comes and goes, but gluttony every day. Uh, impatience or wrath, anger, whatever. A
Yeah.
little bit. Holy protection. Kieran says Revelation 20:14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So he's trying to clarify for us. People are in hell currently, yes, but Satan is not yet bound. Okay, that's Kieran's answer to your first
Got it.
question.
Got it. So hell is going on. Okay.
Because we've
Yep.
had saints that talk about people that are already in hell, and I think in the Bible it also talks about Lazarus and the rich. Is it Lazarus and the rich man, or what was the
Yeah.
story? If you send me back, then my brother will convert. He said if you won't listen to
Yep.
Moses, he won't listen to
Give me
your.
a drop of water on my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Lazarus and the rich man. Is that what that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm remembering
So it
too.
seems like some people are already in their places. So yeah,
Yeah. But I was gonna say not Satan, that's for sure, because it's so obvious
prowling
he's
around.
the god of this world, right? It
Yeah.
to me that one's obvious,
He's
man.
prowling around.
And I
There's a
was
technical distinction, he says, between Hades and hell. Too much to type out. Yeah. So they're
yeah.
different underworlds, and he's not going to give us
Man,
a doctoral thesis on it
David,
via
that's
text here.
that's what I was confronted with, David, when I was full of fear then, right? Full of fear. And God saved me from that. I turned into a lunatic, man, for like what one would call schizophrenic.
Yeah.
Flat out. Like the doctor would have issued me and diagnosed me with schizophrenia, but I was simply being attacked by demons because I didn't come to God, right? And the moment I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, God is the one there. God is there, right, for me, and I could come to Him anytime. And then I coincidentally said a prayer that I seen coincidentally 10 minutes prior in a random comment section that I read it then, but this time I looked up and I said it, and he healed me that day from schizophrenia.
Nice.
Amazing. I swear, man. Because I don't think I ever gave you my full testimony or something. I gave you a lot of it, but I think it gets deep, right? It gets deep, and that's
Yeah.
that's one of them. It was
Wow.
amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's right. How about you,
I
David?
had I had a revelation. I, I actually sent you a couple of messages, David, and I had a I had kind of a revelation about I I know that a lot of people have lust to deal with, and I'm one of them, of course, and many men do. Remember that guy from Minnesota you did that podcast with, and these guys were talking
Yeah.
about lust and
Yeah.
all of that. Well, I the revelation came to me is it's my imagination. My when think about think about what you think about in those moments, and your imagination can be used to conjure up these images. Now, but you can use that same imagination to conjure up holy images. And I've been trying it, and it actually helps. We can be, like, because Satan works with images,
Yeah.
and imagination is something that's really, like, when it comes to lust, imagination, in my opinion, will grab you,
Yeah.
and you have to deal with it. Anyway,
Yeah. That's
I
very.
kind of, I've been following this mystic. I've been following this mystic a little bit, and man, that really makes sense to me.
Who's the mystic? Is it your favorite guy there?
His name is, he was born in the 18th century. His name is Jacob. I think it's pronounced Bayman or Bohm.
Ah, okay.
And he's a Catholic, and he was a mystic, and he's really he's a deep thinker. But you can Google him on YouTube, or you can check him out on YouTube. He's got a couple of videos there, and another guy is Meister Eckhart. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to say, in that vein, like, thanks for bringing that up, because I always talk about this, on my podcast. I talk about when the demons of lust attack me, it's always with these images, and I sort of, it's called delectation, where you kind of pay attention and you think you're delighting in it, even though it's evil. That's where they get me. If I pay attention to these demonic images, that's where they get me. But the Desert Fathers of the East, the Eastern Orthodox Fathers, if you read the Philokalia, they say don't engage your imagination at all. So
Really?
I wish Kieran were still in the live chat. He had to leave, but the Eastern Orthodox Desert Fathers, they say don't even bother with the imagination for good or for evil,
Oh,
and
That makes
it's just
sense.
it's a safer approach. Now, if you want to do your rosary like I do and conjure up images, I think that's good. But the Desert Fathers, they didn't even do that. They said just keep it really dry and
Yeah.
don't even
Yeah.
bother with the imagination. If any image comes to you, just discard it right away. So
Yeah.
that's an extreme approach. Maybe it's more extreme than what the Catholic Church today would teach us to do. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I think it's interesting that they saw the danger of the imagination, the
Yeah.
power of the imagination, and the fact that Satan can't control our will, but he can control to a certain extent the images, the imagination.
Imagination. Yeah. Yeah. I heard exorcists say the demons play with our imagination
Is
big
that
time.
right?
Yep. Imagination and emotions as well.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. For sure.
Let's keep going
But
on
we
your.
can't.
Yeah.
But we
Go ahead.
can't. With our imagination, we can become creative. See,
Oh,
Yeah.
God creates,
With
and
his imagination.
we can be co-creators with God in a sense of, like, every act of love is like a creation. So when we use our imagination positively, we can become creative. I think it would apply to you a lot, David, when you're doing your podcast. I think you do it when you deal with people who you might have different views from. You use creativity to to for love. Like, even like the lady the other day who was obviously, you know you guys disagreed, but you still loved her.
Yeah.
You still, you respected her.
yeah. Yeah.
There's not a lot of that. There's not a lot of that that's going on the internet today in
Right.
Catholic circles. It's always, there,
Yeah.
there there's always arguments.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I'm
it's
saying?
automatic. I'm right. You're wrong, and then just attack them
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I agree. Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the kind words, Daniel.
hmm Let's not make David's head too big.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll give credit where it's due. But the other thing I liked what you did the other day, David, and I got to give you a bunch of credit here, is when you were talking to that one guy about COVID, and you described, you sort of gave your hypothesis about how you dealt with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was kind of that was creative to me. I think a lot of people need to hear that because a lot of people don't know how to deal with those sorts of things in a kind of a critical way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Because like I have a special kind of you know, problem you could say where, you know, I was always very much in my head in a little bubble and oblivious to the outside world and sort of a defense mechanism how to deal with childhood trauma, these sorts of things. And so uh thinking and thinking about communication and thinking about interpersonal dynamics and thinking about how to navigate problems and how to clarify ambiguous or complex situations. Ever since I was a child, that's sort of been where I've been. Instead of like if I had been raised and been a little bit more happy-go-lucky and extroverted, maybe I wouldn't have had some of the ability to make distinctions or to hone in and find the root and to uh, you know, try to find solid ground when it comes to my worldview or my philosophy or these sorts of things. Maybe if I was more well-adjusted and happy child, maybe I wouldn't have had some of the tools in my toolbox. So I think God uses God draws straight with crooked lines a lot of the time, equipping us with our experiences. And that's why I agree with the saints when they say we should thank God for everything, be grateful for everything that happens, the good, the bad, the boring, and everything, because God's molding us, He's crafting us, He's shaping us all in a unique way. And everyone's so different and unique from each other. That's why I like interviewing people, right? It's always a surprise, right, to find out like someone thinks differently, they react differently, they've got different tools. Did you guys like that young kid I had on that was into the Germanic? Do you remember the young kid? I don't know if you both watched
Yeah,
it. Do you remember the young kid? He was dressed
yeah,
nicely. Remember?
yeah. I liked him.
I think he was Canadian too. I think he was from the West Coast. Sharp young man.
Was he
I
the
checked
Mormon
out
or
that guy. That guy who's got the podcast. Have you checked him out yet? That
Who?
He's kind of like I think he was like a psychologist or something. Just the other day, you had him on.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go on his show. I'm gonna go on his
He's
show. Yeah,
Yeah, he was cool.
yeah.
agnostic, right?
Huh?
Agnostic.
Yeah. There's that good-looking agnostic guy. He's gonna have me on his show. There's also a guy that has Coffin
Yeah,
Talk. He does a show
yeah,
about death. I'm gonna go on his show. So I've been meeting a lot of people.
yeah.
But
This last one you had him. I loved that interview. That was good. That
yeah,
was awesome, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
the
awesome.
agnostic guy or
Yep, yep, yep.
That one young black man you had, that black kid you had on there, he was sharp.
with the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. I was just soaking it in as he was just like
Yeah.
yeah.
huh?
Yeah. Uh,
What
um,
else you got in there, Nikola?
uh, what's a realistic example that could happen that would make you leave Christianity?
I'll let Daniel go first.
I- I'm not sure if this would or not, but I've thought about this a lot. Um, it has to do with evil, and it has to do with the suffering of people. Like when I look in the Middle East, and I see the suffering children, I see the heartache of all the people there. When I see suffering, when I see this innocent suffering, it it kind of grabs me.
Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go if you leave Christ? Where are you gonna go? To Satan? Where are you gonna go?
That's right. That's right. There's nowhere to go, but I read Dostoevsky a lot, so that's where I get that from. If you read the brothers Karamazov, if you ever read that, that's what they talk about. It's very, but yeah, they say that atheism. Well, you know this, David. Is evil in the world the main cause of atheism?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's selfishness is the main cause of atheism. Pride and
Okay.
selfishness. I want to do my will. Like I want to do my will, and even today I'm Christian. I still want to do my will. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? I don't get a tear in my eye with every news headline about the tragedies. I don't. I'm not that sensitive. I'm calloused.
Okay.
I'm cold. And it takes a lot. Like, I mean, I can get a tear in my eye over a beautiful melody more
Yeah.
quickly than seeing a bunch of babies getting massacred in front of my face. I will probably cry over a corny song on the radio faster than seeing actual tragedy because I'm hard and cold as a defense because I'm a sensitive person. So I have to have calluses
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, doesn't it answer the question though? Like what can happen that God can't make right? You know, if God is real, heaven is real.
Yeah.
You know, reimburse. Like, how much can that kid suffer until then he never has to suffer again?
Yeah.
That it won't answer the question of suffering. Now, I'm a big sissy and a crybaby when I'm suffering. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have to admit that. All right, but it does answer the question of suffering. It's just like, you know, at the moment of death, that poor child that just suffered is going to be happy forever. So there's no problem, you know, there.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's
no
true.
problem.
The real tragedy, the real sadness that we should focus on, but which we don't, usually, intuitively, instinctively. The real tragedy is the danger that men and women are in when they are doing evil in this world, when they're killing or raping or killing or whatever they're doing, any corruption, any crime, any war. Those people who are orchestrating that and doing that with impunity, they think our tears should be for them. Like it's what Jesus said: "Don't cry for me, cry for Jerusalem or whatever it was." Like, you know what I mean? Don't cry for me. It's like, don't cry for the innocent. And Jesus was truly innocent. So, if you have a friend who was into dark stuff and suicided themselves, I think we should be worried about their eternal salvation. But if you have an innocent child who was killed by terrorists, I mean, yeah, you're gonna feel all the negative emotions, the sadness, and everything. You're gonna feel the trauma, but you can know intellectually, you can know that child has been baptized with hopefully with water and then with their own blood. So.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's how I
So
feel about it.
yeah, for me to leave Christianity, I would just need to conclude with really solid truth and knowledge that Christ is a liar and or a lunatic and or a legend.
Yep.
And I don't see that happening.
Right. I was heading towards like a specific example.
Okay. I got a specific example. That people shove down my throat on Twitter all day, which is the gay stuff in the church. Oh, Pope Francis is gay and Father James Martin is gay and they're all gay and you're gay and everyone's gay. So I was just thinking like, hey, let's imagine that like 90% of the parishes where I live, and we have a lot of parishes, 90% of them are LGBTQ. All they got the colors, they got the parades, they got drag queens on the altar. It's like a total blasphemy, and they're doing gay sex on the altar, and this is the Catholic Church, 90% worldwide. I would just go to the 10% that's not doing that, right? If it's 99%, I'll just go to that 1% that's not doing that, because there's always going to be there's always going to be a remnant of people that aren't buying into it, whether it's the gay stuff or whether it's
Yeah.
whatever it is that you're afraid of. Like these traditional conservative Catholics, they're so scared of the gay stuff in the church. I'm not scared of it.
That's right.
I'm not
Yeah.
scared because I'm not gonna like suddenly go, oh, okay, screw it, I'll be gay and I'll start sodomizing my male friends or whatever. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not interested. So
Because
and
you're already pretty certain that it won't change it. The church won't change that teaching. You're saying, right?
yeah, it can't change. You can't
Yep.
change. It can't change.
That's right.
It
That's
can't
right.
change, and I know it. I know it. I'm more certain of that than I am of most things,
Mhm.
because the natural law, like we just know, we don't need religion to know what a man is, what a woman is, and what the marriage act is. We don't need religion for that. I'm sorry. This is a
Yep.
basic thing. This
Yep.
is a basic, very basic thing. So when people start talking to me about how Pope Francis is going to do this and that with sexual perversion, it's like you're deluded. You
Mhm.
you're really crazy. You've really gone paranoid. Like
Yep.
wake up, wake up. We don't
Yep.
even need religion to know what's right when it
That's right.
comes to sexual perversion. We don't even need religion. So why are you dreaming that the Pope is suddenly going to change doctrine on this? Are you crazy? So yeah, that's why I'm really I don't give the left a hard time, but I give the right a hard time because it's more foolish. To me, it's more foolish than the left. The left, they just want to relax and have license to sin.
Yep.
I can relate to that.
Mhm.
That's my natural inclination every day. Every meal is like, hey, can we relax the rules on gluttony? Because it's like,
Yep.
but I know it's wrong. I know I'm wrong, and I know the church is right. So
Hmm. It's fine. That's how Satan works. Like little by little, he does things. First, he made everybody think that sex is just for pleasure.
yep,
Then once that soaked up, then they think, well, it's for my pleasure. I choose a guy. I'm a guy. I choose a guy. It's for my pleasure. What's wrong with it? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's the craziness of it, for sure.
What about you, Nikola? To leave Christ, what would it take?
Man, I I mean, I guess for a while, for a year now, it's been if one of the dogmas change. That's
You're worried about it?
but
Are you worried about it?
no,
Because
no,
if you're
not
if you're
truly
worried about it, I
worried.
just insulted you. Oops.
No, I'm not truly worried about it. It's nice to have confidence in it. I just say sometimes, what if, right? What if?
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
to put myself really reality in there, then, right? And I try to put myself really, what if?
yeah, yeah,
Then
yeah.
from that point,
Yeah, but
I'm scared.
we know, like I told you, we know there's always a spectrum. You want to go left, there's a lefty church. You want to go right, there's a righty church. You want to go in the middle,
Yeah,
there's a middle church. And so
yeah,
if like the church allegedly starts teaching something that you know is wrong, just go to that one little quiet parish where they don't buy that,
yep, yep.
right? Like Saint Athanasius with the
That's right.
Arianism, he didn't buy it. He fought against it, and eventually we came out of that nonsense. You know.
Yep, yep. Next question. This one's serious, David. For you, what are your pronouns?
I accept all pronouns. I accept all of the pronouns.
What is your take on dreams, and what do you think they are?
Well, there are different kinds of dreams. I'll answer first. I think there are different kinds of dreams. Some are just silly and fun. I'm going to tell you a story about my wife, and she doesn't like when I talk about her, but I can't help myself. The other day, I had to get up in the middle of the night to take a leak, which is happening more and more as I get older. But anyway, too much information. But anyway, as I got up, uh, my wife, who's lying beside me in bed, was sleeping clearly and laughing with a cute little giggle, like a giggle of a
That's,
child.
yeah, that's awesome.
And when I got up, I guess she kind of woke up a bit, and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to the bathroom." I said, "Why are you laughing?"
Uh,
And she said, "Because you burped." And I guess she had a dream where we were doing something and I burped and she found it funny, but it's just total nonsense. But so
uh,
yeah, I think some dreams are just hodgepodge of like I dream about my wife a lot, she dreams about me a lot. Like we're traveling, we're doing this, we're listening to music, whatever. So it's just like a hodgepodge of your day or what you're thinking about. So some are just silly, and I think some are portentous, and they could be spiritual, like authentically spiritual. Like when I took the name Mary, I think I might have had a vision of the Blessed Virgin who came
Yep.
to me.
That's so
So
awesome.
and so everything in between, and I leave it in God's hands to judge. And most of my dreams are just silly nonsense.
Yeah.
And a lot of my dreams are demonic. That's another aspect. A lot of my dreams are demonic, the sexual stuff and all that sort of stuff. So Daniel, what do you have to say?
I I like dreaming. Uh, I've actually had lots of dreams. I've dreamt that I was getting killed, but the the best dream I ever had, I can remember it like yesterday. I think I was in like grade 4. I was sleeping and I was playing football and I was running for a touchdown, and I had nothing but daylight, and I was just about ready to pass the goal line, and my mom woke me up.
Ah,
And I said,
uh,
"Mom, damn it!" I said, "I was
That's
running for a
funny.
touchdown, damn it! Why did you?" And I was trying to go back to sleep because I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
the glory was almost yours. Oh, oh.
That's
But yeah, I
funny.
dream, and I like. I don't know. I think there are some to dream. I know a lot of people take seriously their dreams, and I think there's a lot to it. Like obviously in the gospel, there's lots about dreaming.
Old Testament
Really?
too.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Old Testament too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Saint Joseph the dreamer,
Yeah.
yeah.
or Joseph the patriarch, Joseph the
Oh,
patriarch.
that's cool. Yeah. I definitely think it's rare. I believe it's a mix of whatever, right? From saying and just a bunch of nonsense and whatever you were thinking for the day and whatever, right? But that one, my favorite dream was the one that happened probably, I don't know, 8 months ago or something. I got on my knees. I was in a church. I got on my knees. As soon as I got on my knees, everything turned black and disappeared. And I looked up and there's this huge human heart, a
Wow.
real human heart right above me,
Mhm.
probably you could say 6 feet big or something like that. Like it was just huge, a human heart, and it was just so vivid and so.
Amazing.
And yeah, that was an awesome dream, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fire started. These empty walls started slowly lighting on fire,
Wow.
and then there was fire around me, and just that
Wow.
human heart up there. It
Of
was
Jesus. Did you think about
wow.
Jesus?
In the dream, I don't know if I thought of Jesus. I just knew it was something special because in the dream, I actually didn't think of none per se. I was feeling something in the dream. And what I was feeling was emotions of love and joy. And like I was in this 1,000 mile per hour roller coaster. And if I was being cleansed, and it was just this mix of
Wow.
like amazing. I felt all that vividly, like whoa, like almost like it's whoa, 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 and it was climaxing, getting
Climactic.
yes, yes. So
Wow.
What I like about you two guys, Nikola especially and David too, is I like how you're so certain about your Catholicism. I I have to admit that Catholicism, I'll never leave the Catholic Church. I love the Catholic Church, but I have some problems with it.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
hell, eternal hell. You don't like that.
I don't like how the other one is
No
divorce.
one likes hell. No one likes hell. No one likes it, Daniel.
right.
You're not
The
supposed
other
to
thing
like
is
it.
like divorce. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, how can you not? Okay, so how can the Catholic Church be so strict on
It's not
divorce?
that
You know,
strict. It's not that strict. It's not that
isn't
strict.
it?
It's not that strict
Right.
because
No,
you
there's a
have to
left.
have the right attitude toward. You have to know what marriage is when you enter into it, and you have to have a commitment to the good of marriage when you enter into it. What percentage of marriages actually have that basis, that foundation? I don't think it's that many. I don't think
Okay.
it's that many where people enter in knowing the good and willing the good of marriage. I don't think they're that many. Maybe what, one in
Mhm.
1,000, one in 10,000. I don't know. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of just people cohabitating under this marriage. It's not a real marriage. So that's why there you can get an annulment so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, David, I had a real good friend of mine. Well, actually, she's a real good friend of my wife's, and she tried so hard to get an annulment, and they wouldn't give her one.
Yeah.
And it was really quite tragic because she's really a faithful Catholic,
Oh,
and she
oh,
couldn't get it. It was just
oh,
tragic for her.
oh. Yeah,
It
That's
was
probably.
sad.
I
yeah,
could imagine it was tragic for her. I bet, and I could
yeah,
imagine. But
yeah,
to me, as soon as you said like she was a faithful Catholic, it's like because God has the plan for her. God has the plan. That's why He
Yeah.
gave her that cross to carry, which
monumental.
is
Yeah.
I can't even imagine it, right? But He gave her that cross to carry for a reason, you
I
know.
think about Saint Teresa of Avila. She had a bad day, fell in the mud, whatever, and she turned to God and said, "Why do you treat me like this?" He said, "I treat all my friends like this."
Yeah,
That's how he treats his friends. That's how he treats his
yeah,
friends. How did he treat Jesus?
yeah, yeah.
Right?
That's it. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm saying that glibly and smugly now because because God doesn't love me that much. I mean, He doesn't love me that much to actually test me. You know, not
Does the,
yet, not yet. So I can laugh about it, but
does the Catholic Church support capital punishment? What do you think about that?
yeah, yeah,
I,
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I
I think
used to
so.
believe in capital punishment. I did a complete about face on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm against capital
Okay.
punishment.
Okay.
And, and the
Okay.
reason I'm against it is because Christ was crucified,
Okay.
an innocent man.
Oh, oh, okay, okay, okay. I get you. I get you. Yeah, I got you.
I used to be okay with it, but I'm not anymore because somebody brought that to my attention. I
Ah,
I changed my mind.
oh, wow. Okay, I hadn't thought about it that way. But what about if someone said, "Yeah, I did it, and I'm gonna do it again"? Could you kill that guy?
I don't know. I like how can you square being for capital punishment and against abortion?
Pro-life,
I
pro-life. Yeah, pro-life,
pro-life, yeah. Like,
pro-life.
do you see it? Do you have a problem with that or no?
I'm open to the thing. The thing is, it's such an abstract question for me because I'm not planning on going to jail for a crime, a capital crime, and
Okay.
I'm not planning on being a decision maker in that process. But I think like if I don't think that physical death is a big deal. Like Nikola said earlier, it's like okay, your baby was raped, tortured, and killed. So what? She's up in heaven now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating a
Yeah.
bit there, but physical death is not the problem. It's
Yeah.
and if I think about Saint Thomas More. I think about a lot of people that were put to death unjustly and the martyrs and stuff like that. It's like it's a happy story. These are happy stories that we're reading about. Saint Thomas More in particular, I love hearing about
Yeah.
his story. So it's a glorious thing. So I'm really not convinced against capital punishment, but it's not
Okay.
it's not a, it's not an issue that I'm gonna really get excited about. But I could go either way. But it seems to me like you know what the way our catechism used to say it was pretty reasonable. Like just in a very exceptional, rare cases, it could be the last resort or whatever. It just seems like pretty conservative, cautious language. So I didn't have a problem with that. Now Pope Francis and his boys want to tighten it up even more. I'm not going to make a stink, but
Yeah. No, it's like I think I told you guys, my kids my my kids all left the faith.
yeah,
They're coming back, but they left the faith, I think, because uh, I was brought up hardcore Catholic.
yeah,
It was like
rigorous, yeah,
rigorous, and I brought that along with me. My dad was a real rigorist, and I brought that along with me. But when I grew up, fear was a big deal. Fear of hell was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think I turned my kids off
yeah,
with that,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
trying to bring them back now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. don't worry about the past if you were a rigorist because of your dad or whatever. Don't worry about that. That's fine. You don't need to feel any kind of way about that. That's for sure. I hope you don't worry about that. Like, oh, what did I do to my kids? Whatever. Don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
you're definitely very soft today, so I'm sure they see that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're coming. They're coming back now. They're coming back to the church because I've actually, I actually changed my mind about the church. I don't. It's not a change where it's not about dogma.
Right.
It's it's something deeper than that. It's more kind of a freedom thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's just I can't explain it.
You're not tied up with a bunch of man-made garbage,
Yeah.
and you're just a natural child of the church now, and there's a freedom in Christ, and you're. I'm just putting words in your mouth here, but you can correct me if
No,
I'm
no.
wrong.
I would never leave the Catholic Church. I would never leave it. Even it's. I might have some problems with it. I might have but I'll never leave.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those. It's just grace. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. My only advice that came to mind, if I could, would be, don't don't try too hard. Just love hard. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
That's
what I
right.
Love me harder, Daddy. Isn't that what they say in the memes?
yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap it up here soon, but I want to get the bullet points, all your questions, your fun random questions here.
I hope they're fun at least. Do you ever get tiny glimpses of heaven and what you think it would be like? Because I know at the end of the day, we can't even imagine what God has in store for those, right, that love Him. But I know He gives us glimpses, right? So, do you ever get any? And
Yeah.
what are they?
I'll answer quickly first. Yeah, for me, there are two things. Well, there are a couple of things, but I'll just emphasize two. One of them is, like I said, music. Sometimes it's just
Mm-hmm.
so abstract, and you
Yep.
can't touch it. Like, what is it? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that mystery of music that touches me. I get emotional sometimes with music, not all the time, but occasionally. So that's one little glimpse. And the other glimpse, of course, is like my wife. Love, romantic love. That's the best for me. That's the best. If I'm having a crappy day at work, which happens, sometimes I'll just randomly think something will remind me of something my wife said that was funny or whatever, and it's like a smile just naturally comes on my face just thinking about this person. And so for me, as the Protestants like to say, it's not religion; it's a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, our Lord and
Yeah.
Savior. So to me, like having intimacy, romantic intimacy, like being like brother and sister with this woman and loving her, imperfect. I love her imperfectly, but having that love and that delight, like you have with your children. I don't have children, but I have that with my wife, and I would imagine it's a millionfold with a child, right? But just to have that mysterious encounter with another person that you love unconditionally, to
Yeah.
me, that's the best. That's the best glimpse of heaven.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome answers, man. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel.
You guys are going to probably think I'm crazy, but I've actually,
Food. Tacos. Tacos. No, that's the other guy. That's Christopher Rice.
Great. Every stuff.
I actually, honestly, have. I believe I've experienced ecstasy
Ah,
very briefly,
was it mixed with
and
speed or was it straight? Kidding.
it, it's the most. It's the most peaceful. It's the most peaceful feeling. It's like when you get the feeling and it goes away, you're just totally. You're just so mad. It's indescribable.
Was there a reason that came about, or just
There
was it
was
randomly, or when praying, or?
Once it happened in church on Easter, and a couple of times it's happened just like what David was saying in my relationships with my wife or my children or my grandchildren. There's this moments of, you can feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
The peace is unbelievable.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You, Nikola, you?
Yeah, it was a grace by God, man.
With the tears.
Strange.
The tears?
Yeah, that one, right when he saved me and he cured my illness that I just said, schizophrenia. That day, I cried all day, and as I was crying, the poison was coming out of me, and I was crying because if I could explain in words, I felt as if Jesus himself was carrying me like a little baby, right? And I'm telling him, I'm sorry I didn't come to you. I'm sorry for sinning. I'm sorry, basically. And he's just saying, I know, son. I know. I'm here. I know. I'm here. As if that literally happened is how I cried that day. All day for hours, 8 hours maybe. I would go for 20 minutes straight crying, okay? Couldn't even catch my breath. I'll finally get a break. Whew. I'd be like, wow, like I need to get a break here, right? Give a few minute break. Again, another 15 minutes it would go. Then again, and that happened all day that day.
Wow.
It was, I can't tell you, man. And that was the day when I said, God, I'm following you no matter what.
That's exactly,
no matter what, I will follow you.
That's exactly what it's like every time Christopher eats a taco.
Yeah. But strangely, it was a grace given to me because I didn't grow up religious, right? We would go Christmas, Easter, and I'd go to church Christmas and Easter, right? And my mom taught me how to do the sign of the cross, and I went to got my first communion and all that. But that was it, right? But God gave me that grace. He just I always knew he was like real, right? He was there. He was real. And heaven, I would talk about heaven at, 15 years old. I would be talking like, oh, heaven, man, you're not going to believe how it is. And I don't know where that came from. As I think about it now, I'm just like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. We didn't talk about it in the house. We didn't. But God just gave me that grace to just know, like, to know in a certain way. So it was pretty amazing, man. I don't know where that,
It is amazing. It's an amazing grace.
Yeah, it really, really is,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
What'd you think of my little friend in Toronto? He comes back every once in a while. He's got long hair, the young guy with the hair. Do you know the one I'm talking about? I forgot his name right now.
Yes,
What's
I
his
love
name?
him. He's awesome. He's a smart young man. Yes.
He's intense, eh?
He's intense. He's wise beyond his years.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Do you remember his first name?
Oh, I can't think of his name now.
Yep.
I didn't know he's Ukrainian, hey? Did he say he was Ukrainian?
Mixed Ukrainian Chinese or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you guys were talking about
Weird
the Ukraine war.
Yeah, it's a weird mix.
Yeah.
What the heck? I should know this kid's name. Come on. Anyway, talk amongst yourselves while I look it up and see who he is.
So you're a cradle Catholic, Nikola?
Yep. But when I had my experience, look how awesome God is. When I had that experience that I just told you of the crying, which was now like about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I became Protestant for a minute. I started reading the Bible for myself, and I wasn't going to church, and I wasn't taught the Catholic faith. So I became Protestant, read the Bible for myself. God allowed me to become Protestant for about 8 months or something until he brought me back around to the Catholic Church after I learned what does the church teach.
Hey, you guys were both like rad trad conservative
I used
Catholics
to be a
at
rad
one point,
trad.
right? Both of you were, right? At one point?
Yeah. I was a rad trad.
Were you? Were you?
Hard to believe.
No, Satan kind of was pulling me that way, and he was pulling me towards sedevacantism right away, but then a rad trad just a little bit, but he never allowed me to flip, go that far with it, man. And
but David, rad trads are different. Like my
If
dad was
God
a
gives
rad
you
trad,
the
but it was different.
yeah,
My dad grew up with the Latin mass. My uncles knew how to speak Latin because were altar boys, and they were they were they were really into the Latin mass, but it wasn't like the trads. It was different. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
There was a difference.
Old school breed, yeah.
I say
Yeah.
This,
the Holy Spirit knows what He's doing.
yeah.
You have a choice. You have a choice. We have a choice, and He knows what He's doing. That's how I
So it's
look at it.
Brandon Danelishan. Brandon Danelishan.
Brandon.
That's my friend in Toronto, and he's got a bunch of
Yeah.
animals. I've never seen his animals, but I always hear the animals like in the cages, moving around. But when I listen to him talk, it's like you guys got like a sort of simple, clean Christianity without a lot of baggage on it, and he just talks about the gospel message, repentance, and I find it very pure and clean. And he's a funny, silly guy too, so
Mm.
there's that too. But yeah, I
Oh,
like to
and
see the
then
young people getting excited about Christ in his church. I like that. What were you
yeah,
gonna say,
that's
Nicholas?
amazing. When you see a young person, that gets me excited too, man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say. So as soon as God brought me back to the Catholic Church, that's when I found David, by the way, and had the first
Is that
watch
right?
one of his first. Yep, watch one of your first videos randomly. Got in the comment section. You came on. You replied and asked me to come on, and that was when I had my first interview. It was
Oh,
right
no
there.
way.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
So
you
that's
shouldn't feel too special because I ask everyone to come on. You're just
I know.
you were nice enough to say yes. That's the only difference.
Hey, you know that girl named Rebecca?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I checked out one of her videos one time, and she had it. She had a video with a transgender lady, and I'm
Mm,
telling you, you guys got to check this
Guy to
video.
girl or girl to guy?
Girl, I think a girl to a guy. I'm telling you, it was actually a good video, man. I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
nice,
yeah,
nice.
You
Yeah,
got to check
Rebecca's
that out if
awesome.
you get a chance.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was
She's
it
awesome.
was deep. It was some deep shit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
Nice,
bread of life. The bread of life.
Yeah, bread of life.
nice. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, check that out. It was like it was something she it was just something like she had a spiritual life. This transgender woman, you could tell. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this past Sunday,
I
I was
watched a few
okay. Go ahead.
I watched a few of her videos. She's a different kind of she's got a different kind of spirituality.
Rebecca.
Rebecca
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
Becky.
yeah.
Yep, she
I
is
like her.
awesome.
Like
A warm lady and
Yep,
lovable, very lovable,
yep,
yeah.
for sure.
open, bright. The
Yep.
the face.
I'll tell you what, this transgender lady,
Yeah.
man, she was bringing some theological principles into her argument. Like,
Nice.
I mean, I was thinking, like, holy smokes!
Right. Was it debate form, or was it a straight up just loving conversation, or was it
It was
small
a real
pushback?
loving conversation. It was like, it was really spiritual.
Okay,
We'll
It was
check it
amazing.
out.
nice.
We'll
I
check it
can't
out.
think.
Send
Yep.
me the link to it. Send me the link to
I
it if you
will.
can. And they're gonna boot me off here probably
Okay.
in about 5 minutes. But Nicola, do you have anything else on your list?
Okay, this one's total speculation. It's random, right? But what do you think happens the moment we die? Meaning, is there some tunnel we go through? We're shooting through the, up through the space and all of this until we finally meet, or is it a instant in front of the throne of God, in front of G, or is it? What do you think
I
happens the
picture it.
moment of?
I picture it like the lights come on, and the this silly video game that we've been playing is seen as a cheap performance compared to the reality of God in heaven. And I'm
Uh,
sitting alone with Jesus in a nice setting, and that's the particular judgment is just unfolds right there. Okay,
got it.
that's
Got it.
my intuition. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's how I've always pictured it. It's like
Hmm.
instantly I'm in reality, finally in reality, instead of being in this nonsense dream world, like a drug trip, and with it's like a video game mixed with a bad movie and a nightmare, and then suddenly you have clarity. Suddenly you're with Jesus. Suddenly, that's how I picture it. What about you, Daniel?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of picture like I'm still going to be in time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. My soul's in my body. I'm not sure if I'm going to be in time or eternity. It's like this. I really have a. I'm kind of tripped out about this time business.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's. I've I've read about it, and it's kind of it's crazy, but I kind of follow. I kind of get into Judaism. I've listened to a few rabbis talk about it,
Ah.
and that kind of makes sense to me a little bit more than Catholicism. But
Oh yeah. You look Jewish. You look like you could be Jewish. You should get grow the curls there. But no, when it comes to eternity and time and what I do is I just say, look, God is the master of time. He created time to be natural, and I'm a natural creature. And when I go to eternity, I have access. God can give us access to time. It's just a meta time. It's just like it's no longer like you're in the fishbowl. Now we're in the aquarium, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's a different relationship with time, but time didn't disappear. Time is there. Time is there.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
if like when I said that I picture after I die at the moment of death, suddenly I'm in reality, I'm with Jesus. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
I'm gonna turn my head, I'm gonna look at him, whatever. Maybe it's not like a physical body that I have because I haven't been reunited with my body yet, but there's gonna be like this. I believe that God will allow us to have sequences of events according to our perception, even though we're in eternity and we're no longer in time. So to me, it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. It's not
Yep.
like it's not going to be a fish out of water. It's going to be coming home and being really for the first time natural.
Yep.
You
Yep.
see what I mean?
It's
A lot of
funny.
people think about it as like, oh, well, how do I wrap my head around it? It must be really weird sci-fi. No, it's more real. It's more natural than this, and
yeah.
you're going to feel
It,
at home.
yep. It's funny. It don't bother me neither at all time. No issue there. It's just like this here. This is God's snow globe here that
Yeah,
we're in, and that's time itself.
yeah,
Okay, and he's just outside of it,
yeah.
outside of the snow
Exactly,
globe. That's it.
exactly.
There's nothing more, you
That's
know.
how I see it. That's why I said the fishbowl. You said the snow globe. It's the same
Yep,
thing.
yep. That's all it is, you know. It's not, yeah. So it's
I
not
want to
issue.
get a quick question in there
Yeah.
because I know, David, you talk about this a lot, and you talk about monotheism.
Yep.
And what do you think of this? We're not, as Catholic, we're not monotheists. We're Trinitarian. Is there a
No,
difference?
no,
Oh,
no, no, no. It's like okay, what is an apple versus an orange? What is a fruit versus a vegetable? What is food versus minerals? Or what is food versus animals? Like what is vegetable versus animal? These are different layers. So an apple is a fruit, and apples are, you know, distinct from oranges. So it's the same thing with Muslims, Jews, and Christians. We're all monotheists. We have that in common, but we are Trinitarians, and the Unitarians are Unitarians. It's just like, but we're both monotheists, and the Mormons are not even monotheists, right? So it's just like nested layers of categorization, and we share a lot of categories. Like the three
yeah.
of us are men,
How
right?
could a Muslim or a Jew, how could you understand God without Christ?
They don't understand God properly or fully, only imperfectly and partially. But what I say to the rad trads and what I've been having a Twitter war with them about is that
Yeah,
are you going to use that measure against the Muslims because God's going to use that measure against you? You want to say, oh, you don't qualify, you worship demons because you don't have a perfect understanding of God. You want to say that to your brother and sister here below? Because God's going to
yeah,
turn around to you and say, hey, guess what? You don't know me perfectly either, bud. So according
yeah.
to your own measure, you condemned yourself with your judgment. right?
Yep.
So that's why I'm very careful about these
Yeah.
definitions. Yes, the Jews and the Muslims are monotheist. Are they wrong? Is their religion demonic? Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm wrong. I'm demonic, and I'm trying to be Catholic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the teaching is very clear that it is one God, right? But then when you get into Trinity and you start thinking too deep about it, that can throw us off. But we're never going to understand the Trinity. So, you know,
But how could we understand? How could we understand God without Christ? If Christ didn't incarnate, how could we? How
How
could we
can
understand
okay?
God?
Listen, how can the Protestants not recognize Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist? How can they do that?
I
Well,
don't
the
know.
same way that you and I are not perfect. That's it.
Right.
That's it. You have
Okay.
shortcomings. You're flawed. You have false notions about God too.
yeah,
Okay, so we're all in the same boat. And I don't say that just so that I don't get judged by a harsh standard. Oh, I don't want to judge people harshly because I'm not going to get judged harshly. No, that's not the primary motivation. My primary motivation is because I know reality. Reality is we all fall short. We all fall short. We're all ignorant about God,
exactly.
and even in heaven, we're not going to comprehensively understand God. So why are we getting all uptight? Like you have to be this perfect in your knowledge of God to be qualified as a worshiping God? No.
That's right.
Yeah, but David, that's why the Orthodox get all freaked out about Catholics because they figure the Catholics got a weird idea about original sin. Okay, like like we're, we're, we're we can rise above this original sin. Like we can't just say, "Well, I'm just the original sin got me." You know what I mean? Like the Orthodox think about original sin differently than the Catholics.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the Catholic understanding of original sin. I like it.
Me too. Me too. Our first parents had $10 trillion to give us, and they lost it. They no longer have $10 trillion to give us. That's how I see it. Something like that.
They
You know,
lost the
it's an
inheritance.
analogy, but yeah, they lost the inheritance. So they didn't have to, but anyways, that's just an analogy. But yeah, David, let's you go to your wife, man.
Yeah.
Where she's prettier than us. So thank you,
Yeah, a
brother. I
lot
love
prettier.
you. God bless you, brother.
Understatement.
Nice seeing you, Daniel. God bless you, and we'll talk
God bless
soon.
you.
I
Brother.
Good
love you.
seeing you.
I love you both, and thanks for
Love you
coming
guys.
on. We'll
No
talk
problem.
soon.
See you
Book
again.
another one soon, okay, guys?
You
Sounds
bet. You
good.
have a good weekend.
Love you both. Bye. God
Bye.
Bye.
bless.